Here are two more examples, what I consider challenging examples of factoring to find the GCF. Try to pause the video at this time and see if you can figure out the GCF on your own and see if you can factor it out first. When you're done, you can unpause it and then hear the explanation for each one. So looking at the first problem, the 100a squared b cubed minus 25ab to the fourth, so this whole problem right here, I want to find the GCF of these two numbers, and I know because there's 25 cents and a dollar, I know that 25 is the GCF of each of these, and 25 goes into 100 4 times. So I know part of my GCF is going to be 25, and in the last video and the previous video I discussed how anytime you have variables you always look for the smallest exponent. Well, in these examples we have more than one variable, so we have to look at each one separately. Let's look at a first. Do both of these terms have a in common? Yes, they do. And what is the smallest exponent you see? Well, here a has an exponent of 2. Here a we can technically say has an exponent of 1. So 25a to the first power, or I can leave it at 25a, that's your GCF. But then we have to look at the b as well. So looking at the b, the smaller exponent is 3. So it will be 25ab to the third. That's the GCF. That's what's going to go outside of those parentheses. And don't forget, when you're factoring out a GCF, you are undistributing. You're doing the opposite. And the opposite of distributing, the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So in order to get what's on the inside, you're going to divide each term by the GCF. 100 divided by 25, I said before, that gets me 4. A squared divided by a gives me an a left over. And b cubed divided by b cubed cancels out completely, so the b's go away, and we will subtract 25 divided by 25 is 1. You do not have to put the 1 there. Then we have a to the first power divided by a to the first power. They cancel out. You have b to the fourth power divided by b to the third power. 4 minus 3 is 1, because when we divide, we're going to subtract our exponents. So that gives us 1b to the first power, or just 1b. And like I said, you don't even have to have that 1 there in front. For some reason it's not erasing, but you don't even have to have this 1 here. You could just say 4a minus b, and that will work out just fine. So this ends up being our final answer once we factor out the GCF. Now, the next problem, it's the same exact idea, except I'm going to intentionally make a mistake with my GCF to show you how you can easily fix it without redoing the entire problem. So I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to say the GCF is 6 because I know each of these is divisible by 6. Like I said, I'm intentionally making a mistake. The GCF is not actually 6, but let's say that you're not sure, but you know 6 divides into both of these, so let's go for it. Let's call 6 part of the GCF. Let's take out that 6. Looking at these two terms, do they both have x in common? No, only this one has x. That's the only one. This one has x. So they do not have x in common. X will not be part of our GCF. But they both have a y in common, and the smallest exponent is 3. So this will be 6y to the third. We're going to divide each of these terms by the GCF that we found. Remember, this GCF is not entirely right, but that's okay. I'm going to show you how to fix that. 36 divided by 6 is just 6. The x squared stays there. We're not dividing it by anything. And then it's going to be y, because y to the fourth divided by y to the third gives you y. We're going to subtract 12 minus 6 is 2, and then y cubed divided by y cubed, they cancel out, cannot simplify. Now, here's how you know that you made a mistake. Looking at what's inside of your parentheses, you'll notice you have a 6 and a 2. Technically, these are both still divisible by a number. 12 was actually the correct GCF, but we chose 6. So here's what we're going to do, and I'm going to do this in pink so you can kind of see the difference there, like a hot pink color. So what we're going to do is we're going to factor out a 2, an additional 2, as part of the GCF. So I already had a 6y to the third factored out. Now I'm going to factor out a 2 and then divide each of these terms by 2 to get what should be on the inside of those parentheses. That's going to give me 3x squared y minus 2 divided by 2 is 1. So my final answer in hot pink over here should be 12y to the third times 3x squared y minus 1. This whole thing should be the final answer. So that's just an idea of if you make some sort of mistake with the GCF, how you can easily fix it. Factor out another 2. It goes on the outside multiplied with your original GCF. Divide to get what's on the inside just like we have before, and that will give you your final answer. So that way, if you see that you make a mistake and there's another number you can take out, you don't have to redo the entire problem.